I'm running out of resources to keep you out of state prison. I'm going to incarcerate you in a way that's very unpleasant for you. I'm doing that because I believe if you understand that's where you're going, maybe it'll save your life.
That's Robert Downey Jr. Most of you may know him as Iron Man. Today, in this video, we're going to share the life story of RDJ. From hitting rock bottom to becoming Iron Man and one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Robert Downey Jr.'s journey is nothing short of legendary. But did you know he almost lost it all before making his legendary comeback? Robert John Downey Jr. was born on April 4th, 1965, in Manhattan, New York City. His height is about 5 feet and 8 inches, 1.74 meter, and his zodiac sign is Aries. He was the younger of 2 siblings. His father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker, while his mother, Elsie, was an actress who appeared in some of his father's films. Downey Sr. had a mixed heritage, including Lithuanian Jewish, Hungarian Jewish, and Irish ancestry, whereas Downey's mother had Scottish, German, and Swiss roots. Due to his father's work in the film industry, Downey moved frequently during his childhood, living in various places such as Woodstock, London, New Mexico, California, Connecticut, and Greenwich Village. His family went through fluctuating financial situations, experiencing both wealth and hardship, depending on his father's career success. From a young age, Downey was exposed to drug use. His father, who struggled with addiction, introduced him to substances early in life, giving him marijuana when he was just 6 years old and later exposing him to cocaine. His father later expressed regret for these actions. Downey reflected on this period by saying that doing drugs with his father became a way for them to bond emotionally. When my dad and I would do drugs together, it was like him trying to express his love for me in the only way he knew how. As a child, Downey had small acting roles in his father's films. His screen debut came at the age of 5, when he played a sick puppy in the absurdist comedy Pound, 1970. At 7, he appeared in the surreal Western Greaser's Palace, 1972. He also attended the Stage Door Manor acting camp in New York during his preteen years. In 1977, when he was 12, his parents divorced. Following the separation, he lived with his mother in New York, while his sister stayed with their father in California. A few years later, he moved in with his father and attended Santa Monica High School, but eventually dropped out in 1982. At 17, Downey returned to New York to pursue acting full-time. To support himself, he worked various jobs, including waiting tables, selling shoes, and even performing as living art at a nightclub. He landed roles in off-Broadway productions and eventually secured his first credited film appearance in Baby It's You, 1983, although his scenes were later removed from the final cut. Downey began building upon his theater roles, making his stage debut in 1983 at the Jiva Theater Center in Alms for the Middle Class for a 3-week run. He also performed in the short-lived off-Broadway musical American Passion at the Joyce Theater in 1983, produced by Norman Lear. In 1984, Downey landed a role in the film Firstborn, where he met Sarah Jessica Parker, and they were both 18 at the time and moved in together after dating for only 8 weeks. In 1985, he joined the new, younger cast of Saturday Night Live. Downey has stated that Anthony Michael Hall, whom he befriended while working on Weird Science, helped him get the audition. However, Downey and most of the new cast members were dropped after a year due to poor ratings and criticism of their comedic abilities. Rolling Stone magazine later named Downey the worst SNL cast member in the show's history, stating, "The Downey fail sums up everything that makes SNL great." That same year, Downey had a breakthrough in dramatic acting, playing James Spader's sidekick in Tough Turf, and then a bully in John Hughes's Weird Science. Molly Ringwald wanted him for the role of Ducky in Hughes's 1986 film Pretty in Pink, but the part ultimately went to John Cryer. However, Downey later starred alongside Ringwald in his first lead role in The Pickup Artist, 1987. Due to his numerous coming-of-age films in the 1980s, Downey was often associated with the Brat Pack. He moved to Hollywood and lived with fellow actors Billy Zane, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kiefer Sutherland. In 1987, Downey played Julian Wells, a drug-addicted rich boy whose life spirals out of control, in Less Than Zero, based on the novel by Bret Easton Ellis. His performance, described by the New York Times as desperately moving, was widely praised. Downey later admitted that the role felt like the ghost of Christmas future, since his drug addiction soon mirrored that of his character. Shortly after completing the film, Downey entered rehab for the first time, marking the beginning of his struggles with substance abuse. Following Less Than Zero, Downey appeared in larger-budget films such as Chances Are, 1989, Air America, 1990, with Mel Gibson, and Soap Dish, 1991, with Sally Field and Kevin Kline. In 1992, he portrayed Charlie Chaplin in Chaplin, a role for which he prepared extensively, learning to play the violin and tennis left-handed. He worked with a personal coach to perfect Chaplin's posture and mannerisms. His performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, though he lost to Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman. Over the next few years, Downey appeared in Heart and Souls, 1993, Shortcuts, 1993, The Last Party, 1993, Only You, 1994, Natural Born Killers, 1994, Restoration, 1995, and Richard III, 1995. He also starred in Home for the Holidays, 1995, and later played Special Agent John Royce in U.S. Marshals, 1998, and appeared in Black and White, 1999. From 1996 to 2001, Downey was arrested multiple times on drug-related charges, including possession of cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. He cycled through drug treatment programs, county jail, and prison. In a 1999 court appearance, he famously told the judge, "It's like I have a shotgun in my mouth, and I got my finger on the trigger, and I like the taste of the gunmetal." He revealed that he had been addicted to drugs since the age of 8 because his father had given them to him. In early 1996, after growing concern for Downey, Sean Penn and Dennis Quaid took him to a rehab center in Tucson. However, Downey left the facility just days later. In June 1996, he was arrested for possession of heroin, cocaine, and an unloaded .357 Magnum handgun while speeding down Sunset Boulevard. A month later, while on parole, he wandered into a neighbor's home under the influence of drugs and fell asleep in one of the beds. The homeowner chose not to press charges, but the incident, later dubbed the Goldilocks incident, was widely publicized. In November 1996, Downey received a 6-month live-in rehab sentence, 3 years probation, and compulsory drug testing. In 1997, he missed a court-ordered drug test and was sentenced to 6 months in Los Angeles County Jail. After his release, he completed a 120-day rehab program. After staying clean during the filming of Wonder Boys in 1999, Downey relapsed. Facing mounting legal bills and losing his Malibu home, he was arrested again for missing another drug test. Despite being represented by Robert Shapiro, one of the attorneys from O.J. Simpson's trial, Downey was sentenced to 3 years in the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and State Prison in Corcoran, California. At the time, all of his film projects had wrapped, and he was fired from his voice acting role in God, the Devil and Bob, due to his legal troubles. After spending nearly a year in prison, Downey was released in 2000 after posting a $5,000 bail. A week later, he joined the cast of Ally McBeal as a love interest for the main character. His performance earned him a Primetime Emmy nomination and a Golden Globe win. He also appeared on Vonda Shepard's Ally McBeal for Once in My Life album and performed a duet of Every Breath You Take with Sting on the show. However, Downey later admitted, "It was my lowest point in terms of addictions. At that stage, I didn't give a F whether I ever acted again." On Thanksgiving in 2000, Downey was arrested at Merv Griffin's Hotel in Palm Springs after police, responding to an anonymous tip, found him under the influence and in possession of cocaine and Valium. Rolling Stone published a 6-page investigation into the incident. Despite the risk of a 4-year prison sentence, Downey signed on for more Ally McBeal episodes. In April 2001, while on parole, he was found barefoot and disoriented in Culver City. He was arrested for being under the influence of drugs, but released a few hours later, despite testing positive for cocaine. Following this arrest, Ally McBeal executives rewrote and res-hot scripts before ultimately firing him. The Culver City arrest also cost him a role in America's Sweethearts, and Mel Gibson canceled a planned Hamlet production starring Downey. In July 2001, Downey pleaded no contest to the Palm Springs charges, avoiding jail time, but being sent to drug rehabilitation and placed on 3 years of probation. He benefited from California Proposition 36, which aimed to rehabilitate nonviolent drug offenders rather than imprison them. By this time, Downey was homeless, considered an insurance liability, and near bankruptcy. According to conversations with Woody Allen, the director wanted to cast Downey and Winona Ryder in Melinda and Melinda, 2003, but was unable to because the actors could not secure insurance.